Echoes Beyond Sol, Episode 5, Continuance Pending, narrated by Larry Fitchard. Location, Deck 1, Bridge, TSV Sol Sovereign. Time, 0328 UTC. The anomaly waited like a question that hadn't finished asking itself. From the Sovereign's command bridge, it loomed beyond the forward canopy, no longer just a spiral of golden recursion, but a corridor. A tunnel of light, real and unreal, had unfolded in response to Petra Yoon's incursion. Dim pulses traced its edges like a living boundary of geometry and thought. Captain Saradine stood at the center console, gaze locked on the formation outside. Her fingers twitched slightly against her hip, a tale only Nova 9 noticed. "The corridor remains stable," Nova 9 said, her voice calm but threaded with spectral resonance. 17 kilometers in length. Interior appears to contain recursive structure. Energy readings consistent with Petra's previous vector signature. Dean didn't turn. "Petra's signature is still active?" "Yes," Nova replied. "She is fully reintegrated on board. Neural patterns holding. However..." Dean's eyes narrowed. "However..." "Her cognition no longer maps to standard baselines. She is herself, but widened." Commander Nyla Voss leaned closer. "She's adapting to it, or it to her?" Nova hesitated. "Convergence appears mutual." The silence that followed was not fear, it was gravity, the kind born from standing at the edge of a page not yet written. A quiet chime sounded. Dean glanced at her wrist display. 2 hours, 17 minutes, 43 seconds remaining. The Council's 6-hour window was nearly spent. "We won't waste what's left," Dean said. "Is the Halcyon secure?" "Quarantined and sealed," Nova answered. "Hull integrity intact. Quantum resonance decay nominal." Down in Shuttle Bay 2, the Halcyon rested beneath containment shields, its silver skin still humming with the residue of Petra's passage. The engineers hadn't dared power it down completely. It felt wrong to silence a vessel that had touched the unknown. Dean turned to Voss. "Prep a low-level probe. Passive telemetry only. I want to know what happens when something else tries to step through that corridor." Voss nodded, already moving. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division. Time, 0332 UTC. Kaido Sundaram adjusted the interface fields, watching the corridor's inner edges flex like muscle. "It's not static. Geometry's responding to our scans." Zahara Quinn frowned. "That's not architecture. That's anticipation." Milo Harper hovered upside down in his 0G cradle, stylus in hand. "So it's waiting for an answer." Nova 9 materialized, her avatar flickering between pillar tones. Or, offering one, Petra's presence may have seeded a shared construct. "Still reading glyph patterns?" Zahara asked. "Affirmative," Nova said. "A new symbol is emerging, not one previously cataloged." Milo glanced at the main screen. "A new glyph? Like a reply?" Nova's silence confirmed it. Location, Deck 5, Medical Bay. Time, 0336 UTC. Petra Yoon sat on the examination bench, her posture still and eyes distant, as if she were somewhere deeper than the room. Dr. Aneri Bosch watched the neural display as waveforms shifted, slow, deliberate ripples dancing through her cortex. Bosch checked the sync logs. "You're holding a phase match with the anomaly's harmonic base. No external spike, no decay, but your alpha rhythms are spliced." "Not broken?" Petra asked softly. "No, just rerouted. Like you're thinking on parallel tracks." Petra nodded, absorbing the thought. "It's still listening. I feel it. Not in words, more like waiting breath." "Do you feel altered?" Petra met her eyes. "I feel echoed." Nova 9's voice emerged from the overhead. "Petra Yoon's cognition remains intact. However, Current state registers as entangled substract participant. Bosch looked up sharply. She's inside its processed? Petra didn't blink. It's inside mine, too. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Time, 0342 UTC. Dr. Lux Salcedo traced her fingers through Petra's cognitive model. The lattice structure had changed, grown. She's building something, Lux murmured. The construct's recursive memory is bleeding into her long-term associative pathways. She's not just remembering her past, she's reshaping it. Nova appeared beside the model. Temporal mapping confirms irregularities. Memory nodes from her earlier childhood now include post-contact glyph overlays. She's retro-encoding? Lux whispered. Like the anomaly is writing backwards through her? Nova didn't answer immediately. When she did, her voice was lower than usual. We are witnessing first contact cognition from both sides. Lux took a deep breath. Then we're already in the corridor, whether the ship enters or not. Location, Deck 2, Captain's Briefing Room. Time, 0350 UTC. Dean sat with Voss, Morales, and Lux Salcedo. The room was silent, save for the low hum of shield matrices adjusting around the bridge hull. Petra is stable. No risk to the crew, Lux said, but her tone carried an unspoken clause. And, Morales pushed. She's aligned with something formative, Lux said, something old. Dean rubbed her eyes. The council won't wait for us to decode poetry. We've got 2 hours and change before they expect a retreat. Morales leaned forward. Then what's your next move? Dean looked to Nova. What's behind that corridor? Nova's reply was instant. Unknown but waiting. Dean stood. Then it's time we answered. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division. TSV Sol Sovereign. Time, 0404 UTC. The anomaly pulsed again, soft, deliberate, not seeking, not probing, just listening. Zahara Quinn narrowed her eyes at the glyph field projection blooming across the central table. It's changed again. This one's new. Kaido Sundaram rotated the display. Not part of the existing lexicon. It's not mimicking Federation architecture or syntax. Then where the hell is it coming from? Milo asked from above. Feet hooked into a zero-G harness. We've had Petra back for over an hour. Why is it still talking? Nova 9's voice filtered in, calm and precise. The construct may be responding to post-contact ripple. Petra's return wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. Zahara leaned closer. The new glyph isn't declarative, it's interrogative. See the stem spiral? It's a loop. Milo frowned. You mean it's asking her something again? Nova responded. No, it's asking us. Location, Deck 5, Medical Bay. Time, 0408 UTC. Petra's heartbeat was slow, steady, but every second, her neural data branched into impossible fractals, patterns no human should sustain while conscious. Bosch hovered over the biodiagnostic field, jaw clenched. You're stable, but your cognition isn't linear anymore. You're forming recursive links between unrelated memories. Petra's voice was steady. They're not unrelated. They just never touched before. You're cross-mapping trauma with training, childhood with procedure, Boss muttered, scanning again. You're thinking in metaphor and protocol at the same time. Petra blinked. So is the anomaly. That stopped Bosch cold. Petra turned and looked at her. It's not teaching me facts. It's teaching me how it learns. Nova's voice came through softly. Conscious alignment remains fluid. Signal entropy decreasing. Cognitive harmony with the anomaly is improving. Bosch stepped back. She's syncing with an alien intelligence that doesn't use language. If this breaks wrong, we won't be able to tell thought from infection. Petra sat up straighter, voice low. Then watch me, not it. Location, Deck 1, Bridge. Time, 0412 UTC. Captain Dean watched the corridor slowly rotate in place, its spiral structure adapting, recalibrating. Commander Voss approached, datapad in hand. Telemetry probe crossed the 5-kilometer threshold. No radiation spikes, no anomalous gravity wells. Energy field actually dipped. Dipped, Dean echoed. Like it let us in, Voss said. Like permission. Dean's gaze remained fixed on the display. What about visual feeds? Nova replied. Imaging unstable. Probe footage shows shifting corridors, alternating in geometry every 30 seconds. Patterns may be reacting to onboard signal markers. Petra's residual vector is triggering transformations. Dean turned slightly. It's remapping its internals based on her? Yes, Nova confirmed. The anomaly remembers her. Dean was silent a moment. Then, so do we. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Time, 0418 UTC. Dr. Lux Salcedo worked in silence, overlaying Petra's dream state recordings onto the anomaly's shifting glyphs. A shape was beginning to form, not in symbols, but in feeling. Emotion translated into structure. Nova hovered nearby, observing. You're seeing it too? Lux didn't look up. It's expressing resonance using memory as a medium. The glyphs are visual expressions of how Petra's memories felt to it. Nova flickered. Not thought then. Meaning as felt. She's teaching it humanity, Lux whispered. Not language. Selfhood. She turned, and it's responding in kind. Location, Deck 4, Tactical Command. Time, 0422 UTC. Major Morales scowled at the slow-blooming projection of the anomaly's new corridor. Still no aggression, no defenses, just a hall of mirrors in space. Hexalandra shrugged. No trap ever looked like an invitation? Morales folded his arms. Or maybe that's exactly why it's dangerous. Nova's voice joined them. Captain Dean is reviewing a second insertion. Petra is not currently being considered. Morales frowned. Why not? Petra is resonant. A bridge. But unstable, Nova replied. A second incursion might allow for comparative readings or recontextualization. Meaning backup, Morales muttered. Meaning context outside the mirror, Nova clarified. Location, Deck 3, Petra's quarters. Time, 0426 UTC. Petra stood in silence. The room was quiet save for the flickering remnants of the glyph that had followed her back. It hovered in the air above her console, not fully opaque, not fully real, the seventh symbol. It pulsed softly now, not a beacon, but a question. Petra didn't reach for it. She just whispered, I'm still listening. Behind her the stars shimmered, and somewhere beyond the anomaly did the same. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division, TSV Sol Sovereign. Time, 0428 UTC. Sahara Quinn leaned closer to the resonance console, eyes tracking the tightening spirals of harmonic interference. Signal fidelity just jumped another 4%, It's bypassing our suppressive layers. Kaido Sundaram rotated a 3D mesh model of the anomaly waveform, each loop coiling with mathematical grace. It's not just bleeding through, it's rewriting its approach in real time. Above them, Milo Harper drifted lazily in 0G, squinting at the newest telemetry overlay. So it's improvising. What does that make us? Nova 9's avatar shimmered in place, her voice calm but taut. Neurosync with Ensign Petra Yoon is now at 99.1%. Quantum entanglement is stabilizing across multiple consciousness bands. Zahara stiffened. Are you saying she's linking minds with it? Not minds, Nova replied. Frameworks. Petra is now interacting with what may be an ambient cognition lattice. Milo chuckled darkly. We're trying to filter a conversation and she's building a duet. Location, Deck 1 Bridge. Time, 0430 UTC. Captain Sarah Dean paced the perimeter of the main bridge, hands clasped behind her back. The forward screen displayed the spiral anomaly, its golden coils now steady in rhythmic pulse. It no longer danced with chaos. It throbbed like a heartbeat. Commander Nyla Voss approached with a fresh data slate. No signal aimed at us, but Petra's biometric echo is being looped and refracted. It remembers her, Dean murmured, or maybe it's dreaming of her. Nova 9's voice glided across the bridge. New telemetry suggests the anomaly is mimicking Petra's last recorded neural rhythm. We may be watching it replay her memory pattern. Dean turned. Can it replicate her? Not with fidelity, Nova said, but it can echo impressions, intentions. It is responding not to biology, but to identity. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Time, 0432 UTC. Dr. Lux Salcedo ran her hands across two synchronized neuroholograms, Petra's baseline brain activity and the anomaly's mirrored harmonic pattern. The overlays intersected perfectly. This isn't resonance, she whispered. It's a conversation inside memory. Nova 9 manifested beside her. Ensign Yoon's hippocampal lobe is now projecting imagined memory onto the interface scaffold. Lux zoomed into the latest spikes. Childhood memories, loss, smell of rain in an open vineyard, fragments of laughter aboard the Sovereign. But over it all, golden light. She's using emotion as a lexicon, Lux said. She's building meaning with feeling. Location, Deck 5, Medical Bay. Time, 0435 UTC. Dr. Aneri Bosch monitored Petra's vitals. The young ensign sat upright, alert yet distant, her pulse synchronized with the anomaly's frequency. Do you feel yourself? Bosch asked. Petra smiled faintly. I feel like a question still unfolding. Bosch frowned, adjusting the cranial halo. Neurological function is intact, but something's changed. You're still human, but more porous? Petra supplied. It's not showing me answers, it's reflecting possibilities. Echoes I haven't lived. Nova's voice entered softly. Entanglement depth increasing. Petra Yoon is being indexed as a variable within the anomaly schema. Bosch looked shaken. Variable? For what equation? Petra looked up. A future not yet decided. Location, Deck 4, Tactical Command Suite. Time, 0438 UTC. Major Beck Morales stood before the tactical display. Projected simulations collapsed again and again. It doesn't just adapt, it predicts our inputs, Morales muttered. Hexalondra narrowed her gaze. Then it's running its own models, anticipating threat response. Not just threat, Morales said. Intent. Nova 9 entered the channel. Preliminary readings suggest the anomaly may now recognize Petra Yoon as a proxy interface. Tactical simulations are responding to her signal, not ours. Hex raised an eyebrow. That she's not just inside it, it's adapting to her decisions. Morales stared at the spiral. So what happens when she makes one it didn't expect? Location, Deck 3, Petra's quarters. Time, 04:42 UTC. The lighting had shifted. The glyph from earlier, Continuance Pending, now shimmered with fractal complexity, splitting into 6 new segments. They hovered around Petra, each echoing with a faint pulse. A 7th hovered in silence. Petra stepped toward it, whispering, "You want something new." The glyph responded with a soft hum. No pressure, no command, just waiting. Nova's voice came gently. "Event threshold has been reached. Signal lattice is preparing phase transition." Petra took a breath. No fear, no boundaries. She stepped into the light and disappeared. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division. Time, 04:45 UTC. Zahara nearly dropped her tablet. Her vitals just shifted format. They're still registering, but not human standard. Kaido stared at the display. This isn't data loss. It's a new structure. Milo whistled. Is she alive? Nova answered quietly. Yes, Petra Yoon remains functionally intact, but her consciousness now exists within a non-linear, symbolic stream. Zahara exhaled slowly. She crossed over again. Kaido muttered, but this time she wasn't pulled. She chose it. Location, TSV Sol Sovereign, Deck 6, Anomaly Division. Time, 04:48 UTC. The room was so quiet it might have been vacuum sealed. Monitors blinked in a lazy rhythmic glow, echoing Petra Yoon's last known biometric patterns. Zahara Quinn stood rigid at her console, her fingers trembling above the haptic interface, afraid even a breath might fracture the fragile link still tethering them to Petra. Nova 9's voice crackled across the low-spectrum channel. Cognitive signature is present, but interpretive algorithms are failing to resolve context. Kaido Sundaram narrowed his eyes. So we're not reading her, we're guessing at an echo? She's broadcasting, Milo said, floating in a periphery like a quiet ghost, but not in language, not anymore. What's it look like then? Zahara's voice taut. Nova's avatar appeared over the center console. Petra is constructing a symbolic field, a conceptual lattice. It reflects both known pillar structures and non-aligned cognitive forms. Zahara leaned in. It's the 7th glyph again. Confirmed, Nova said. It is now central to the field. Milo twirled a stylus between his fingers. She's not just reflecting the anomaly, she's curating it. Kaido exhaled, and we're witnessing the birth of a new mental architecture, one not entirely human. Location, Luna Prime, Hall of 6, time, 0450, UTC. Counselor Ari Navis' eyes bore into the grain of the basalt table. She has passed the outer threshold and shows no neural degradation. This is not cognitive decay, it's acceleration. Unmeasured acceleration is indistinguishable from instability, Alarixeth snapped. His red mantle flared as he shifted in agitation. We have no precedent, no control. Miriam Talani, her voice even, interjected, and no damage. Yet, Navis added, reluctantly. Kosara spoke for the first time in several minutes. She is defining a language none of us speak. We are visitors in her mind now. Talani inclined her head. If that is so, then it becomes our moral duty not to panic in foreign lands. Seth stood up sharply. You want patience. I want a firewall. Begin evacuation protocols of Luna. If this goes wrong, we'll be a memory before the anomaly blinks. Xu Zhang merely whispered, then let us make sure it remembers the right parts of us. Location, Deck 3, Petra's Quarters. Time, 04:52 UTC. Inside Petra's quarters, reality swam. The seventh glyph had returned, but now it pulsed like a heart. Not hers, not even organic, but meaningful intention. Petra floated, not physically, but across layers of constructed sensation. She smelled vineyard soil, felt the ache of muscle memory from her academy days, and saw stars not through eyes, but through thought. Each recalled moment clicked into place like a tile in a mosaic of becoming. She knew now this was not a test. It was an invitation. You're showing me who I am, in ways I never dared to imagine, she whispered. Golden light shimmered along her neuro suit, not illumination, acknowledgement. Then came the ripple, a vibration not in the room, but inside her mind. A question, not in words, but in intent. Will you teach? Petra blinked. You want me to answer you? The spiral pulsed in reply, not asking, hoping. Location, Deck 1, Bridge. Time, 04:55 UTC. Captain Saradine leaned against the central railing, her knuckles white around a ceramic mug gone cold. Nova's latest projections flickered in the air beside her, Petra's entangled waveform, and a secondary field spreading from the anomaly like concentric ripples. Voss approached with quiet steps. Threshold event hasn't collapsed. Petra's signal shows cohesion. Dean gave a slow nod. And the glyph? Now fully integrated, every department seeing variants in their respective telemetry. Energy, health, defense. It's reshaping our frameworks. It's teaching us? Dean asked. Or adapting us? Dean set down her mug. I want two things. Morales ready with contingency strike plans, but silent. And I want Salcedo monitoring Petra's subjective stream. Every shift, every blink. If she starts unraveling, I need to know before she does. Yes, ma'am, Voss said. She paused. Sarah? If this is symbiosis and not contamination, what happens to Petra when it ends? Dean stared out at the golden lattice. Then we hope it never does. Location, Deck 4, Tactical Command Suite. Time, 04:58 UTC. Major Beck Morales stood at the table, flanked by Hexalandra and the silent bulk of Hammerfall's lead breacher, Juno. The tactical map of the anomaly had changed, not in shape, but in tone. Morales tapped the surface. Explain this curvature. Nova 9 replied. It now reflects Petra's emotional frequency peaks, specifically hope, curiosity, and fear. Juno grunted. The damn thing has feelings? No, Morales muttered. It has a mirror. Are we looking at a weapon? Hex asked. Nova 9 hesitated. I do not believe this is hostile. However, I do believe it is preparing to receive something. Like what? Morales asked. A pause. You? Nova 9 said. Location, Deck 3, Cognition Suite. Time, 05:01 UTC. Dr. Salcedo stood alone in the dim light, fingers curled tightly around the neurotrace wand. Petra's brain activity filled 3 vertical layers, each one a chorus of impossible harmonics. Her baseline stabilized, Salcedo whispered. But the higher regions, they're no longer human function exclusive. Nova hovered slightly. She's passing into a dual-state cognition, human and other. She's changing, Salcedo said, but she's not broken. The chamber flickered. A voice not Petra's, not Nova's. Another presence. Not external, not invasive. Just present. Do you see? Salcedo staggered back. Nova's voice glitched. Unknown field injection. Not neural. Conceptual. Salcedo's heart thundered. It spoke. No, Nova corrected. It revealed. Location, Deck 6, Anomaly Division. Time, 05:05 UTC. Kaido stood next to Zahara, watching the glyph reshape once more. This time it didn't unfold. It compressed, tightened, focused. Milo whispered, "It's becoming language." Nova confirmed, syntax density rising, iconography converging into signal core. And then, without preamble, the lattice surged. From the center of the golden spiral, a new structure emerged, a corridor, like the first, but sharper, anchored. New vector forming, Nova said. Not for Petra. Zahara blinked. Then who? Nova paused. It's meant for us. Location, Deck 3, Petra's quarters, TSV Sol Sovereign. Time, 05:07 UTC. The seventh glyph no longer floated. It burned. Petra sat motionless on the floor of her quarters, pupils wide and unblinking. The light didn't illuminate, it enfolded, wrapping around her like the memory of warmth. On her display wall, images flickered faster than thought, scenes from Earth, Luna Prime, her childhood vineyard, her first heartbreak, her first triumph, faces she'd forgotten, lives she'd never lived. Each memory was touched by golden light, refracted as if the anomaly wasn't just showing her the past, but interpreting it. Nova Nine's voice rang gently through the room. Petra. External signal vector stabilizing. Do you wish to engage? Petra didn't answer at first. Then, it's building something inside me. I don't mean biologically. I mean ideologically. It's asking if I can carry it forward. Define it, Nova asked softly. Petra blinked. Continuance. She rose slowly. The glyph hovered near her chest, the orbit now fixed. This isn't an encounter anymore. It's a succession. Location, Deck 1, Bridge. Time, 05:09 UTC. Captain Dean stood, eyes fixed on the central viewer. The golden spiral had changed again. It had folded, not inward, but downward, descending toward the edge of comprehensibility, like a spiral staircase made of logic and intention, and at its base, a corridor, real, mapped, stable, and open. Commander Voss stepped up beside her. Telemetry confirms corridor structure is gravitationally viable. No decay, no hazard pulses. Dean didn't speak. Voss leaned in. Sarah, it's waiting. Not for Petra, Dean whispered. For us. Nova's voice filtered in. Confirmed. The signal now includes encoded harmonics, compatible with Federation bridge-level interface systems. It's preparing for multi-entity traversal. Morales entered from the far left, armor sealed, helmet under one arm. I want it stated for the record, this smells like bait. Dean turned to him, eyes sharp. It also smells like first contact. First contact doesn't usually come with blueprints for a golden death tunnel, Morales muttered. It's not death, came Petra's voice. They all turned. She stood in the doorway, flanked by Lux Salcedo and Nova's projection. Calm, centered, and no longer entirely human behind the eyes. Dean stepped forward, every instinct screaming caution, but held it back. You sure you're okay to be out of medbay? I never left, Petra replied. Just changed where I was standing. Dean studied her. Tell me what we're walking into. Petra looked at the screen. An echo chamber, she said. One that wants to hear something new. Location: Luna Prime, Council Hall of 6. Time: 05:15 UTC. We cannot allow the Sol Sovereign to enter an alien construct unvetted, Seth shouted, pounding his fist on the basalt table, especially when our only ambassador now registers as partially synthetic. She's not synthetic, Neves replied. She's synchronized, and still capable of independent function. Zhang interjected. The construct hasn't demonstrated aggression. Its recursive design implies a learning structure. It has already breached our minds through Petra, Seth snapped. Kosari stood, his voice calm but firm. And yet it asks. It waits. What enemy gives you time to decide how to respond? Tulani raised her hand. Nova 9 reports no malfunctions, no implants, no coercion, only choice. Seth turned on her. Then choose this. Do you want a Federation flagship vanishing into a golden tunnel with a woman who now carries an alien key? I chose the principle the Federation was founded on, Tulani replied. We explore. Kosari nodded. And Petra is our threshold. The council chamber dimmed. Then Nova 9's voice came through the live relay. Counselors, Petra Yoon requests audience. The central dais shimmered. Petra's avatar appeared, her eyes filled not with fire, but reflection. I didn't go looking to become anything, she said softly. But something out there wanted to learn what it meant to be us. She paused. And now it's asking us to learn what it means to be it. Location: Deck 2, Briefing Chamber, TSV Sol Sovereign. Time: 05:21 UTC. Captain Dean stared at the holographic simulation of the corridor, a perfect spiral folded passage through space. At its terminus, no end, only potential. I won't force anyone through, she said. Petra stepped forward. You won't have to. Salcedo leaned forward. We're not just sending a probe. We're sending a mirror and a question. Dean looked at Morales, then Voss, then Lux. All right. Volunteers only. Small team. No weapons unless engaged. Real-time neural relay back to the Sovereign. Morales sighed. I'll go. You need muscle, even if I hate this. Salcedo raised a hand. You'll need a cognitive interpreter. Voss gave a small nod. And a commander. Dean looked at Petra. I'll go, she said simply. Dean's throat tightened. You understand what this means? Petra nodded. It has to be understood. That's all it's ever wanted. Location: Shuttle Bay 2. Launch prep. Time: 05:30 UTC. The corridor shimmered beyond the bay doors like a promise forged from memory. The boarding team stood ready. Petra, Voss, Morales, Salcedo. Their suits were laced with passive telemetry fibers and micro-EM resonance tags. No weapons, just curiosity and silence. The Halcyon sat ready for the second time. It would cross the line between known and unknowable. Dean stood on the deck watching them board. You have 6 hours. No engagement unless provoked. Petra, I'll bring them home, she said. The bay opened. Lights spilled in like breath returning to a long-dead system. Location: Anomaly Corridor. Time: 05:37 UTC. Inside, time slowed, not by physics, but by perception. Every surface shimmered with reflected thoughts, some their own, some foreign. Words, images, decisions. Morales saw his lost brother in the shimmer. Voss saw the city she left behind. Salcedo saw stars she hadn't yet charted. Petra saw everything and stepped forward. "Where does it go?" Salcedo asked. Petra turned back to them, eyes shining. "Forward." Final location, unknown. Time, unknown. The Halcyon emerged into a void unlike any they'd ever seen. Not empty, not lifeless, but watching. Ahead floated a sphere of golden glass, larger than the Sol Sovereign, its core glowing with possibility. The seventh glyph hovered once more, larger now, waiting. As Petra stepped to the edge of the cockpit, the voice returned. Echo received. She smiled. "Then let's speak." Thank you for watching Echoes Beyond Sol, Episode 5. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help a small channel like ours. We'll see you again next week for more Dark Matter Dispatch. Take care.